Well, I've got the neighbors side by side in today. Yeah, it's pretty straightforward. Kind of know what's wrong with it. It's not going to take a lot of diagnosis. This is a no start, no go situation. You can hear the starter motor, and every once in a while it'll catch that starter clutch. That starter clutch is gone. We're going to be pulling the wheel and putting a starter clutch in. And right down here, this throttle cable is shot, seized up and broken. So if you got it started, you can't actually hit the gas. We're going to see what we can do to fix that. And as a bonus, that tire's completely flat. We probably ought to fix that too while we're here. All right, well, let's get started, knock that back tire off and see if we can get to the starter clutch. Use our Badlands here, nothing like overkill. Now, there's not a lot under here. Oop. A little crossbar in here, I'm gonna try to get under. This is what one of these little mini side-by-sides looks like with a lift kit. Once again, the theme of overkill, I think this wrench will take the lug nuts off. I should press the reverse button before I tighten them and rip the studs out. All right. 4 little bitty lug nuts. Let's see if we can get in here to this unit right here and see what we can do for it. While we're in here, we'll see if we can spot where this oil leak's coming from. I don't think this is the first time somebody's been in here. Only one bolt on that cover. Let's hope this goes as well as I'm thinking it will. Well, that was an easy cover removal. Of course, why would the nuts be the same? All right, well now we're armed up with the number 8 for this fan. At least all the bolts are here. Hey, those were tight. Maybe nobody's actually had this part apart. I was doing good right up to the point gravity took over. All right, get those bolts back before I lose them. And when taking these things apart, I always like to just kind of put the bolts back where they're going to go, because I don't like having extras. And in this one, with as many bolts as started missing, I don't think I can afford to have extras. All right. Well, we got the little shell right here we got to get off. It's a long ways in. I forgot how far in you got to go. All right, well, I better go find that nut now. All right, well, in case anybody's keeping track, this is a 17 that fits this nut. And I forgot to tell you, but back around these lug nuts, it was 15. Just in case somebody wants to know the sizes. Now, I don't know how hard that would have been to get out of there, but I used a big enough impact wrench I didn't have to carry. Now, let's see if we can put in our special GY6 taker aparter here. All right, well, that was a 2-factor problem. Somebody had burred that up just a little bit, and I forgot this is left-hand thread. So I wasn't going to win no matter what I did. This just screws in right here. A little bit of file work, cleaned everything right up. I'm pretty confident from this point forward, nobody's been in here. So, let's see. how hard this is going to be to take off. That should just come off there. Not sure why that's fighting back this time. Got the little stator in there for the charging system. See if we can take out that little pickup coil. Well then, that's pretty tight. That is tighter than I anticipated. Well, after all that fighting, the shell come right off. I think I'll clean the mud out of that while I'm at it. Now I gotta get something to get those two bolts out to get this off, because I'm still chasing the starter gear. Starter sprag is right inside here. And that oil leak I talked about appears to be in this area, so I may get that knocked out yet. Alright, well, I upgraded way more than I need. Number 8 bolt with an impact driver. But they come right out. That's actually a touch longer than I was anticipating. Guess I actually have to unbolt that. Get the stator out of here. I'm just gonna put it up here out of the way. I'm not gonna unhook anything. These plastic plugs have seen their better days. I prefer not to unhook any of them if I don't have to. Now, in behind this engine plate, which I may end up dumping a bunch of oil because I do this. In fact, I think I'm going to make a mess, because that's the oil drain. And this part of the plate that's about to come off. So, I probably should drain the oil real quick. What? You know with me, everything's a hammer. Tight as that is, I don't think anybody's been doing the oil very much. I did realize the way this plate is on the suspension down here, if I can use English words, my own language. Well, as I've realized down here on the suspension, there's this plate that holds everything together around the chain. It's going to get oil on it no matter what you do. So we're going to make a mess. Or we're going to discover that it's still too tight to get out. Okay. It's very loose. You ever one of those times where the wrench turns it with no effort, but you can't turn it at all? I don't know if it's leverage or what. Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm messing with the majority of it. Apparently there's a spring in there to guarantee you drop your oil plug. It's in there like that, and that spring makes sure that oil plug goes flying out when you take it out. That's a nice touch. You never have to wonder whether or not you're going to drop it. You know you're going to drop it. Alright, well, let me clean up this mess, then we'll get back to taking stuff apart. Hey, if you take all the bolts out, it's not a problem. So ignore everything else I was doing and just take all the bolts out. Engine's looking pretty good so far. Right here is starting to get close to the starter stuff. We got a sprag and stuff in here. Got to take this stuff apart, so hang tight. We'll go get some more tools out. All these left-hand threads you got to remember. All right, and there's where the problem is. Look at all them teeth chunking out of there. That's not in the best of shape. Oh yeah, look at that. Move that one just slightly. For one, it doesn't fall apart, because this piece is really not supposed to just fall out completely. But if you even move this one slightly, you can't go backward. So that lets it overrun beautifully. So let's put this back in place. Or at least try to. And there's a keyway right here. I actually hit that keyway. There's the key. Huh, did it. Left hand threads. Make sure we don't cross thread this. Because cross threading may be nature's Loctite, but it's not good. Take this little specialty tool. Now, in all seriousness, get you a set of these tools if you're going to do this. Don't try and knock this out with pin punches and a hammer. Okay. That should work a whole lot better. We need to clean up our gasket surface. I'm going to clean this up, and I think I got me a new gasket to put in here, and this may solve our oil leaking issue too. All right, now all I got to do is hold everything just right and put this back in place after remembering I should put the gasket on it. Let's go ahead. I know it doesn't necessarily need this, but a little high-tack spray won't hurt anything. Let's get that all down on these locator pins, or locator pin. I guess plural is a little bit of a misnomer there. We'll stick a bolt in right here. I know it's not the right bolt, but actually it may be. But the main thing is, like that way that gasket doesn't fall out of there. Let's see if I can do this without gravity going sideways. Kinda. Well, that was not the correct bolt. That is not the correct bolt. Apparently that is not the correct bolt for anything, so let's try something else that might be the correct bolt. Well, let's get this stator back in place here. Helps if I put the battery on it. Thought the tool was a little light. Now then, we just got to put the little magnet shell back on here. Always fun because the magnets. There we go. Find the nut. There's the nut. Yeah, the magnets in here make it kind of wonky when you're putting it on. Use the big boy, but let's try to stay calm with it. There we go. Want to stay calm. Discover that that is not where it's supposed to be. There we go. That looks better. Now then, we need a fan on here, don't we? Gravity again. Gravity and these bolts have not been good to me today. All right, let's not tighten them down yet until I get them all in, all at least started. I say that and I immediately tighten the third one down, but I got away with it. Well, that seems to be together. Put this back with its one little bolt that it has. Yeah, I guess one bolt's better than no bolts. It was working, so I might see if I can scrounge up some more later. All right. Now we better put some oil back in this, hadn't we? Before we burn it up. Make sure the dirt's cleaned out of this. This actually takes about a quart of oil, so got my pitcher here with a quart in it. Let's just gently pour it in. All right, here comes the big test. Let's see if the starter now cranks. That sucker turns the engine over good. Now if we had the ability to actually hit the throttle, it would probably be better. So let's see what we can do there. All right, well what we gotta do here, I don't know if we can see this good or not, but up here you gotta get this nut loose. And take that out. I just gotta get this all pulled out and we'll slide a new one in. I'll be back in a minute. Well, I'm running out of time and daylight today. So let's see if we did accomplish this thing. I got the throttle cable hooked back on. There wasn't much to show putting it back together. It just hooked on and was good to go. Let's sit her down. I haven't fixed the tire. That may be another day. Really? Okay, well apparently the jack wants to go this direction. So we will take it over here. Here's the big test though. It runs. See if it moves under its own power. Here we are about a week later now. I had to call in some reinforcements. My gasket cleaning skills weren't up to par.
That's usually when me and him have an issue because I'm a little bit more picky.
Well, my version, I put the oil in and it all poured right out on the ground. Her version, you put the oil in and it stayed in the engine. I think the neighbor's gonna like that version better. Just saying.
I guess because I'm a little more artsy than he is.
She just does a better job at cleaning gaskets. I really should remember that every time.
Oh, so what else did we have to do to it?
I did go ahead and fix this tire. You know, we knocked the bead off.
Right.
It was just a bead leak on the tire, so we didn't really film it. We just popped the bead off, wiped some bead sealer in there, popped the tire right back together. So we did fix the tire, so don't think we didn't do that.
And you're gonna make me drive this since I'm shorter, right?
Yeah, you actually fit this one a little better than I do. Want to see how well it drives now?
Hopefully I don't back into anything.
Yeah, try not to take out the fence, my truck, or the road.
Or the camera?
Yeah, that's not. Don't take out the camera either.
Okay.
The clutch is still a little twitchy,